class. But going back to quarterbacks, where do you see who else is out there? Where do you see C.J. Stroud going? To me, I don't think he's going Raiders. I think the Raiders are taking him a quarterback. I don't think they're gonna
Raiders.
Yeah, I don't think the Raiders are gonna go pick up a veteran quarterback.
Where are the Raiders at?
They're at
on
pick
their
8.
draft board.
Pick 8.
I don't see CJ dropping. CJ's not dropping that low.
You don't think CJ's going to? I think that AR and Will Levis are going to blow the combine up with how big their arms are and what they're going to run on the 40. And I think Bryce Young, they're going to see Bryce Young's production. I think there's some questions on CJ Stroud because he played decent against Georgia, but he was very up and down throughout his career. He wasn't consistently bad. He was either average or slightly above average or good. But there's a lot of does he have that in him as far as that dog, that I got to win mentality? And it's kind of swirling around. And I think that maybe if he doesn't blow the interviews away and he doesn't light up the combine, that he could slide to that 8 or 9 pick. I still think he's a top 10 pick, but I think the Raiders could be a good fit. That's all I'm saying. I just either that or the Panthers. I mean, he's a semi-athletic quarterback that can throw on the run. He showed against in the playoffs that he can run. But again, I think that the other quarterbacks are going to go to the combine and blow it away, and then that might push. We might see Justin Fields. All year was 1A, 1B. Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, and all of a sudden, Zach Wilson had a good pro day, and it pushed Justin Fields down the line. And who else was in that draft class? I can't remember. Either way, I know Justin Fields slid after a couple quarterbacks had a good combine or pro day, and I could see that potential slide with another Ohio State quarterback in C.J. Stroud.
That's fair. I just CJ is. I think the only thing that'll hinder CJ is the fact that he had so many weapons and he wasn't able to complete the season with a national championship.
Oh yeah, he had dogs.
he had probably the best wide receiver core in college football this season, and they fumbled, unfortunately. I mean, so Chicago, Chicago's trading down.
Yeah,
I don't know who they're going to trade down with. Yeah, I don't know who they're going to trade down with. Whoever they trade that number 1 spot to might take C.J. Stroud. I don't know who.
The Rams need a quarterback. They somehow trade the farm away. They get rid of Cooper Kupp. They get rid of Cam Akers and the second round pick and the future first. All that to get C.J. Stroud. You hate life.
If that happens, I promise you.
You better hope he pans out because my man's hurt right now. I don't think it's going to happen. Like it was a joke. I don't think it's going to happen. But
so they're going to trade down to. I think C.J. Stroud's a number 1 draft pick player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, based off of what we saw. Granted, he has some elite players to throw to. I still think he's a number 1 draft pick type of quarterback. But I also think Bryce Young is a number 1 draft pick quarterback.
If you are a GM right now,
AR-15.
If you are a GM right now, out of the top 5 quarterbacks that are projected, obviously, I think Hendon Hooker's higher on my list than Will Levis. Hendon Hooker is my top 5. Yeah, I know he's 25, but I think, and he's coming off an ACL, but he should be fine before minicamp and all that. All right. So, but let's just go off the normal top 5 of Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and I can't remember his name. The dude from Stanford. Who are you taking? If you had the first overall pick, any pick you want, doesn't matter what team you are. You are Team Taylor. Who is Team Taylor picking?
Bryce Young.
So Bryce Young should be the first overall pick, no matter who trades up, whatever.
It depends. So it all depends on what team you have, though, and how you have it structured.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Arizona Cardinals, their whole scheme revolves around Kyler Murray's capabilities to escape the pocket.
Yeah, and his KD ratio.
The Eagles, they are formatted to where Jalen Hurts plays. You can't plug and play in that system. It is designed around Jalen Hurts. So it depends on what team is up there and what they have already designed and what pieces they already have.
Yeah.
That's where it comes into play, is who's going to be the number one. But if I'm going like strictly off of like I can change my entire team around this player, I'm taking Bryce Young. He seems like the most capable of the quarterbacks that are on this draft.
So are you able to get? I mean, obviously, guys, we're going to start obviously looking into it in the next episode. We will start doing our top fives, and we're going to do a mock draft the next episode. So stay tuned for that. But give me just a real quick top five in order. Who would you have your top? We'll do quarterbacks. Top 5 quarterbacks for this upcoming draft.
Oh, for this upcoming draft?
Yeah, next episode you can change your mind if you watch some film or whatever, and you're like, okay, let me change my mind. But we're just on the spot, top 5.
So are we keeping it as if Chicago's still at number 1 and they don't trade down?
I mean, top 5 in general. Like, I'm not saying like who's getting drafted first or anything like that. I mean, like, if you were to look at all 5 quarterbacks, all quarterbacks in this draft, and that you were a scout, you as a scout, who would be your top 5? What was that? You kind of break it out there. Sounded robotic. Talk.
All right, how am I? How am I now?
Good. All right, start your top 5 again.
Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, AR-15,
Mm-hmm.
Will Levis, there. So I'd have to put him at 4 because he's going to get taken.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he's dog shit.
Yeah.
But it's taken, unfortunately. 5th. I don't know who I'd put at 5. And I've got an extreme lag on. You guys still hear me?
Yeah, but you are lagging a little bit, like as far as your mic.
Yeah, I'm getting a lag under in there as well. I'm not sure if it's lagging for everybody in the
You're clear now.
Stream or not. Okay, but Tanner McKee.
McKee, that's who it is. There you go. That's how I was looking up. Yeah, so I like that. I think my list would be a little different. I would have Young at 1. I would have AR-15 at 2, C.J. Stroud at 3, Hendon Hooker at 4, and Tanner McKee at 5. Will Levis being at 6 if I'm a scout or a GM. I'm not big on Will Levis. I'm not. And to be honest, I think Hendon Hooker is better than a lot of people are giving him credit for. Yes, I know, again, ACL, he's 25 years old. But I think Hendon Hooker in the second round is a good value pick, especially if your team looking to win now or at least win in the next 2-3 years. I think you can get that out of Hendon Hooker. He's got a good arm. He's accurate. He's mobile, makes good decisions. AR-15, sky-high potential. I think I like his potential more than, and at the end of the day, his running ability more than C.J. Stroud's ceiling. And then Bryce Young, I think, is just probably the most polished passer, pure passer that we've seen in the past probably 5 or 6 years. So that's how I would go. And then, yeah.
So the reason why I've got Levis up there, since we're talking to like if I'm a GM, Will Levis has that ability to go to a team and convince them that he is that guy.
He's got an arm. He does. I'm not going to take that away. He is a cannon.
He has that ability to go in and say, hey, look, this is what you need, and this is what I can provide. I can turn this team around. I can work. I can learn this playbook. You give me X amount of days, X amount of weeks, X amount of months. I've got this playbook down. I will come in and I will do everything that I can to be the quarterback that you need me to be.
Yeah.
Because Patrick Mahomes, whenever he was entering the draft, there was a lot of doubters about his playing ability. And before the Super Bowl, all the stories come out about what happened, before the draft, during the draft, and everything like that. Patrick Mahomes went to the Kansas City Chiefs because they were looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, look, I will learn every single play, offensive and defensive. I can recite them back to you after this amount of time. I will put in every single ounce of effort that I can possibly put in to be the quarterback to bring you a championship, a ring, a Super Bowl, whatever you want to call it. He made them believe in him. Will Levis has that type of ability to make people believe in him with the way that he can speak, with the way that he can memorize things, the way that he can learn a playbook quickly. And he does have that arm strength, so that's an added plus. So as a GM, what you're looking for is somebody who's going to come in and be that grit type of player, that player that's going to come in and do everything that it takes to become a Patrick Mahomes, a Jalen Hurts, a Tom Brady, an Aaron Rodgers, all of these top players. That's what they're looking for. They're not just looking for, he did good in college, so we're just going to take him straight up. There's so much more that GMs look into, and that's why Will Levis is on the top 5 list of GMs.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to expand and agree with you there. A lot of people, again, looking at Will Levis, and again, I see what you're saying, and I'm not going off college tape, guys. I know a lot of people are like, well, AR-15 Will Levis, they sucked in college and everything like that, yada yada. They didn't put up the biggest numbers. The NFL GMs are not looking at college numbers. They're not. They're looking for traits. They're looking your passing ability, your pocket awareness, your ability to read defenses and stuff like that, because they understand that in college you're going to have an underwhelming amount of not really talented teams. The UK team that Will Levis was on that weren't very talented. They had a couple talented pieces here or there. The Florida team that AR is on or was on wasn't uberly talented on offense. They didn't really have a good solid tight end. Their wide receivers were okay. Bryce Young, you look at Bryce Young, no over-the-top great receivers. Alabama, C.J. Stroud's the only, and maybe Hendon Hooker because he had Jalen Hyatt, who's potentially going first round, second round wide receiver, and Brew McCoy. But C.J. Stroud's the only one that had talent. And so when NFL evaluators...
top tier talent,
yeah. When NFL evaluators looking at these guys, and every year it happens, they're like, how the heck is this person above this person? Did you not watch college football? And I understand you got to trust the tape sometimes, but sometimes the tape lies. And that's why. So you might see these, how can Anthony Richardson... I see people going, Anthony Richardson, based off his college tape, should not go until the 4th round. That's not what scouts are looking at. They're traits. Traits, guys. We got to focus on the traits. And so, like you said with Will Levis, you said the Panthers for Will Levis, and I kind of agree there. I like that fit. Another fit and that I could see is the New York Giants, because there's contract disputes now with Daniel Jones, who's asking for too much money, and they might trade up. I know. To me, he might be Daniel Jones 2.0, but Daniel Jones is asking for, I think, was it $50 million a year or whatever, and the Giants, I don't know if they're willing to pay that, and they could potentially throw the franchise on Daniel, draft Will Levis,
they throw the franchise on Daniel, Saquon's gone.
Oh, there's already reports that Saquon's hitting the market, that he's asking too much and they can't afford it.
Yeah,
it's either,
if they franchise him, Saquon's gone.
Yeah, well, that's what the reports are, is they either keep Daniel Jones or they keep Saquon, and because running backs are lower valued, they're going to move on from Saquon and try to keep Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones is asking a lot of money for a guy who doesn't really have. He's a decent quarterback. I'll say this: he did play pretty good this year. But the only reason why I said that is because they have Wan'Dale Robinson, UK wide receiver, who, when he was with Will Levis, played his best ball, Will Levis played his best ball. You already have that connection. You don't have to worry about that. But that's I'm just don't. It's a wrench in the. I don't think it's going to happen, Taylor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a potential for it to happen because the Giants are potentially looking to move up to get a quarterback.
I just don't see that happening. The Giants are going to pay Daniel Jones, whether it's going to be that $50 million a year that he's looking for, or they're going to be able to negotiate something a little bit smaller, whatever it is. They're keeping Daniel Jones because he proved this season that I've got the ability to be a decent quarterback.
He did play good this year. I will give the flowers.
Yeah, he played a good season. Saquon played a phenomenal season.
He deserves the money more than Daniel Jones, but he's not going to get it.
The only thing